Hey, I'm Ryan Thomas Dalton. Welcome to another episode of Film Slacker, where today we look at the Leica C. This is the first time I've ever had my hands on a Leica, mostly because they're more expensive than my life. This one, however, while expensive still, has come down in price quite a bit. Since the Leica C has come down in price, I decided to get my hands on one and check it out so you can check it out. Mostly here on Film Slacker, we look at stuff for video. We're going to look at the video of the Leica C. Also, though, I wanted to make note of some of the features that are more suited for photography. Namely, this is one of the only tiny little pocket cameras that has a viewfinder. I know the Sony RX100 IV has one, but that's like 900 bucks. This I got for a few hundred, and there's a viewfinder on it. Now, a lot of people hate this viewfinder because, yes, it's very, shall we say, lo-fi. It's a low-quality viewfinder. I thought maybe I'd fall in love with it just because you can frame shots with it, and a lot of these little cameras just don't have viewfinders. However, I've used it now. It's not great. You can use it to frame a shot. I guess it'd be great in sunlight, but I wouldn't rely on the viewfinder for anything important. Now, recently in one of my videos, we took a look at the RX100, which is now kind of affordable. I want to take a look at this. They're not really comparable in the sense that the RX100 by Sony has a big 1-inch sensor like the Canon G7X, G9X, and a lot of the newer cameras, the whole RX series. This camera, the Leica C, also called the Type 112 or Type 112, has a smaller sensor. It's bigger than most point-and-shoots. It is not a 1-inch sensor. This camera is actually the Panasonic LF1 with a little of the Leica bells and whistles. Also, it's kind of sexy with black and maroon across the metal top. I really like the looks of this camera especially. As you can see, it's nice and small, fits in the pocket really well, which is great, which makes the viewfinder something. It's a feature. A comparable camera to the Leica C, besides the LF1, which this camera is based on, or vice versa, a comparable camera to the Leica C is actually the Canon S120, which a lot of YouTubers and bloggers like. I think the Leica C kind of got overlooked a little bit. It's very similar, has the same size sensor, has a lot of the same features. The S120 by Canon has a few features the Leica doesn't, and vice versa, namely, again, the electronic viewfinder. Now you can look up all the specs online. There's some sites with some really great information, even sites that compare the Leica to similar cameras like the S120 and even the RX100. Mainly though, I wanted to try out the video function on the Leica C. One thing I don't like is the 1080p shoots at 60i and at 30p. If that means something to you, you may or may not care. I just wanted to take the Leica C out into the real world, test out the video, see how it holds up, and you guys can take a look. I'll also take a few snapshots so you can see what the still photos look like. One great thing about the still photos, people like it for street photography because it has a stepped zoom where you can actually move from prime lens to prime lens, like 28mm, 35mm, 50mm, and a lot of people like that for street photography. It only has 12 megapixels, but it uses them well, and I've heard the colors are really great. We're gonna check it out, see if you like what you see. Boom, and now we're on the Leica C, testing out the video before I take it outdoors and elsewhere. You probably notice a big quality dip going from the Sony a6000, which has the updated firmware shooting on the XAVC codec, meaning the Sony that I was just shooting on, the a6000, is shooting 1080p at 50 megabits per second. That's encoding at a pretty high rate, especially for a small camera. This, not so much. Here's the first look at it though. Here's the first listen to the audio, see what you think. I'll take it around, we'll test it out in different environments. You can check it out for yourself. Well, we're testing out the Leica C today. I am exhausted, I need some coffee. So far, pluses and minuses to the camera, but man is it good looking. Also, the colors are very rich. Look at the sky and the snow. Honestly, they're a little richer on the camera, at least from the display, than they are in real life. It's beautiful. So far, I'm liking the Leica. One thing you may find interesting or annoying is the shortest focal length is 28 millimeters. It has a great zoom on it, but your widest is 28 millimeters. Some people hate that. I don't mind it. 28 is actually great for me. Some people think it's not wide enough though, so it's personal preference. Again, like most things with cameras. Alright, I'm going to take this camera back out into the great outdoors and test it out some more. It's going to be dark soon, so I'm going to leave the radio station and see how it does outside in the dark. That was my aunt's house we just passed. My great aunt. My great grandfather and grandmother lived there too. Anyway, it's getting dark, but the footage still looks good on the display. It is now dark. It's 5:30. The sun is down. We'll see how this looks, but in the viewfinder, it actually looks much lighter than it actually is outside. I don't know if you can see me, but just from the street lights and a faint glow from the sky, it looks pretty good on the camera. Yeah. Check this out.
Is that a new camera?
I traded the RX100.
Oh.
It's a Leica C.
But did you transfer all the files?
Oh yeah. It is now almost 9 o'clock at night. It's dark. Testing out the dark. Testing out the dark camera. The roads in Pennsylvania are awful, so it's a little bumpy. But it's nighttime. There's street lights and everything around, as you can see. But it looks nice, at least in the viewfinder. It's late. I'm at the radio station wrapping up after a broadcast, and I wanted to make a few more observations on this Leica C camera. What was interesting is I was super excited to try this Leica. I've never had my hands on any Leica before, and you know, they're a high-end camera. Even this one, even though it's based on an LF1 by Penny, still a cool camera. Then when I got the camera, I was a little let down in the sense that it felt light and plasticky. It didn't feel heavy and sturdy like the RX100 that I tried recently. And the viewfinder, like many people said, was kind of a disappointment. That's besides the point, though. I mean, it's a small compact, fits in your pocket, takes great pictures, by the way, very rich colors and great depth of field. It's a great Leica lens. And the viewfinder's there, so it's something. You can use it to frame the shots in bright sunlight, which is great. I actually did do that once. I couldn't see the screen because of the sun. I looked through the viewfinder. My only recommendation, use autofocus, because it's going to be really hard to focus in that low-resolution viewfinder. The video looks great. I haven't looked at it on a big screen yet. From what I can see, the video looks really great, though. And I actually grew to love the camera more. I appreciate the viewfinder. It's something, like I said. And the camera as a whole, it is light. It's not cheap. It's just light plastic. Fits in the pocket so well. It's a tiny little camera. And I grew to really like it. In fact, I even recently downloaded the Leica app. I'll show you. There it is. Downloaded the Leica app right there. Because the camera has Wi-Fi with the NFC. So you can, you know, easily send things to your phone, and I gotta say, it's a great little camera. I think I mentioned this before. I don't know whether I cut it out or not. It's a great camera, I would say, for street photography. The fact that you can just turn the outer part of the lens, skip between prime. I'm a little sick. You can turn the outer part of the lens and go between the stepped zoom, where you can go from prime to prime to prime. Super cool. The photos look great. I would say, like, for a camera you throw in your pocket, you want to take on vacation, capture some great shots, it's a great camera for that. It's a Leica and it's sexy. The body was designed by Audi Designs. It's a nice looking little pocket camera. I would highly recommend checking it out. See what you think of the video. Again, I haven't seen it on a full screen yet, but it seems good. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Film Slacker, a look at a Leica for the first time ever. I'm Ryan Thomas Dalton. Please subscribe. More videos soon.